Synth.
Welcome to Forever Synth. I lose sight of whichever number this is, but it's a big number. It's a very, very big number indeed. And tonight we've got, it's only Michael Oakley joining us again after 4 months.
Dum dum dum.
Michael Oakley, Michael. Dude, it was 4 months to the day since we last spoke to you on the show, and now we've got you in person.
Wow.
Was that planned? 4 whole months. You were like, in 4 months' time there will be a pandemic, a global pandemic,
God.
and I will come.
I don't know. Do you know? I honestly feel like right now I don't know what day it is. It's like I'm literally just Groundhog Day. Every day you just wake up like, okay, I'm up. I'm just getting my coffee and I'm just gonna whatever's put in front of me. That's what I'm doing today. It's
A
kind of
crossword.
Like if you know what I mean.
A big jigsaw.
Yeah, but just that sort of like it's just like deadlines are like out the window. Just like
whenever
I'm like, it comes to me, I'll do it.
Well, I think obviously where you are, they kind of, no one's frowning upon your country, well, where you currently reside. Whereas I think obviously the UK getting in the neck, America, Brazil, Iran again, even South Korea, Canada seem to have kind of, I won't say get it right, but nobody's looking at them as sort of saying, what the hell?
Yeah, it seems to be the measures put in place here seem to be pretty diligent and efficient. So yeah,
well done, you guys.
Definitely a lot better than back home. I'm glad I'm not there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I love Canada. Yeah, my brother's meant to be getting married in Musselburgh, just outside Edinburgh in October, but I don't know if it's going to happen, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Same with my brother up in Liverpool in September. I don't think it's going to happen.
They may be having like a couple of people there, but they're not going to be able to have a wedding, are they?
No, definitely not.
You know, the thing is as well, when I used to live back home in Scotland, I used to work in the wedding industry. I used to play in a band, play at night.
That's right.
And then I used to play during the day at receptions and ceremonies. And the thing about it is that what the kind of, I guess, official thing now is we're going to rearrange the date, right? So that's what most weddings are like. Oh, we'll rearrange the date till next year. But the problem with that is that if you are one of like the like wedding sort of like people like myself that are maybe like cake maker or musician or something, like you're already going to be booked out for that day.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a write-off this year. This is like a write-off.
The whole thing. Cancel 2020. It's a load of rubbish.
But one good thing obviously has come out of this pandemic, and that was New Retrowave reaching 1 million subscribers. Now, of course, they got there through a collection of great artists and good promotion. How does it feel to be kind of part of the excitement? You're obviously a big part of where they're at. They provide such good music and artists, and you're part of the pie. How does it feel?
It's incredible, actually, because it's funny. I wrote a post actually just the other day about it when it happened, and like I remember like 4 years ago, like sitting in my father's house, on my computer, listening to New Retrowave, and at that time they only had 500,000. So in the space of 4 years, they've got another 500,000. They've doubled that, right? And only, I mean, that to me at that time was incredibly impressive, but it's just that feeling of being the underdog, like the rookie, the little guy that's like, oh, I'd love to get on New Retrowave. Like that is, they are perfect for me. And like from here being there and then to now being on that label, it's just like, hey.
It's an incredible journey, man. You've been a big part of it, for sure.
Yeah, it's been quite surreal. I would say is the word. Surreal is more the word because I think it's more than the music for me. It's what they stand for in terms of giving a voice to a lot of people who they would never get heard by other electronic music places or mainstream music. It's like a needle in a haystack, and they've given a voice to just your average white collar person who makes music and is like sent it in, and it's good music, and they've put that out in the station, given them an audience and a chance to grow, a small fan base and to build it from there. They've given so many great opportunities to a lot of great people.
And there's never any controversy, and I'm not pointing fingers at any other labels, but you don't hear any bad things coming from the new Retrowave label. You don't see a tweet coming out saying, "Oh, those guys do it up to this again."
No.
You know, I'm not naming a name, but I'm sure we can all come up with one off the top of our heads.
Has it got 4 letters in it?
It has, but it's meant to say another word, but it's spelled differently. Yeah.
So we're going. We're going
there.
Oh God. Well, I tell you, with new Retrowave, I think it's like anyone. There's always like shade thrown in the direction, I guess. But no, you're right. I think that particularly with new Retrowave, there's definitely a lot more of you could probably look at new Retrowave as being like, in terms of presidents, being the classy Obama type president.
Yeah.
You know,
not the paranoid, hysterical orange one.
Exactly, but you never see, any. I guess that the thing with new Retrowave that I admire about it is that they're faceless, in terms of people will put crap up on the internet and they don't respond. They don't.
It's true, actually. Very classy.
Whereas you sometimes get people who don't realize that you're a professional and don't get involved in that, and the moment they get mud raking, the attention doesn't stay on the person saying the comment. It shifts on to no, you should be better than that as the professional. You should know better than to get involved in this mud raking.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the label that we're not going to mention are kind of the Bill Clinton, if they were to be a president. What with the
dick sucking,
Watergate, and what was her name, Monica Lewinsky.
I don't know if that was water. I don't think it was water on that dress. Just saying.
We are after 9 o'clock, so it's after the war.
Yeah, we can say what we like.
Exactly.
Got it. Seaman. So it has been 4 months.
Former goalkeeper for England and Arsenal.
Yes, he was, and a colleague of mine at work, Paul Seaman. So it has been 4 months. What have you been up to, man? And we realise, you haven't been responsible for a global pandemic keeping us locked down. So what have you been doing in this time, you big lazy bugger? You've released a new track, which is great. Or you're about to release a new track.
Woo! Yep, I've been working on new music slowly but surely. I've got a folder full of demos of stuff I've been.
Is that what you were wiping off the board earlier? Was that lyrics for the new song that we aren't supposed to see? Or
can't use Seaman Gate now? Scrub.
that was my work board. I use that for like if I'm working on projects, and it actually had the name of like my songs, because I did a live stream a few weeks ago, and I forget sometimes like what my own songs, because it's not like I like listen to them, so I have to like listen to them to remind myself what ones I'm going to sing, and it's like, oh no, wait, what's the lyric again? And, like, what's the first line in the song again?
What rhymes with love? Write down words that rhyme with love.
Yeah,
love, above. Yeah.
It's like literally a list of like, oh yeah, Rabbit in the Headlights, yeah, Left Behind. Yeah, I'll do that one and I'll do that one, just to keep me on point. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing these songs today in this live stream.
All the greats. Where did you stream that, man? I missed it. Where did you stream it? Can I see it again?
On Instagram. I was so annoyed because I wanted to save it so that people could watch it later, but I think the time ran over. Then Ollie joined me for a bit, and then I think time ran over and it didn't keep it because it was too long or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's one of those ones like Woodstock. You had to be there. If you weren't there, then Hill House from the Simpsons.
Yeah, 27,000 people claim they were there.
Rob, you were there actually, I believe.
Was I? Yeah, I pretend I was. Let's just say I was there. Yeah, sure.
One of those parents that irresponsibly brought their child along and just started doing cocaine around their 5-year-old kid.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Good times.
Great times. But the new track, man, Queen of Hearts. I can hear Mr. Ollie Wride in the background again on vocals. Yeah. I thought recognise him anywhere.
Another Ollie Wride, Michael Oakley production. What can I say? We're the dream
You two
team.
The dream team. You really are.
Is there a conglomeration, like a single word that kind of mix Michael Oakley and Ollie as one word? Have you got like something of the cusp, or I'd put you on the spot?
I would say Molly, but I don't really want to be associated with
that. That's a cop everywhere.
If I've got a younger fan base.
That's the name of our cocker spaniel as well, and you're better than cocker spaniels.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's been really well received so far. You know, it's I've definitely been trying to push into something new and different. I'm all about like trying to get like I'm pushing for a new sound every time I approach a song or an album.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my previous work and saying I'm not going to do that, and trying to find like ways to bring other influences that I listen to into the genre to kind of open up more, I guess.
And bringing in Ollie Wride is a new direction, is it? Again.
Well, it's probably. Do you know what it is? I think it's just like it's very rare that you meet somebody. I mean, you two guys doing this show, right? Can you imagine doing this show with somebody else? Essentially,
Ugh,
you have like
horrible.
you have a certain dynamic that works.
Oh.
And the dynamic, but you
Which
bounce
Michael?
off that dynamic, and I feel that certainly with Ollie, we've got a great dynamic, and and you know one of those things as well that always lets you know we've never had an argument, never had like any sort of fallout.
Somebody else said that about him. He seems like a person that you wouldn't argue with.
Was it Sunglasses Kid?
Yeah,
Sunglasses Kid.
Well,
so,
Ollie's very like the thing about it is I would say that Ollie knows what he wants when you're working with him, and that's different because the worst is when you're working with somebody who doesn't know what they want, and you're just like,
Right.
if I don't know what you want,
I can't give it to you, man.
I can't give it to you. So it's great because we sort of we both know what we want, and we both are good at articulating like what we're trying to do with the track and stuff, and you know, I think we're both very good at taking like constructive criticism from each other as well. You know, there's been times I've sent him an idea and he said, "Let's change this," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what, you're right."
I think that's quite an important thing you bring up, actually. I think there's quite a number of artists out there that know what they want, but don't know how to explain it to another person because, you know, sometimes you can't just use words like, I want it to be nice and pretty. There's specific words in certainly music that I don't know. If you told me to do something, I'd fuck it up 100%.
Well, you know,
so yeah.
It's one of those things where you kind of work out people you're working with. Like I've had people say to me before, "Can you make that snare drum sound like a digestive biscuit snapping in half?"
Literally.
And I know what he means. Like I know it's that.
What brand of digestive biscuit? Because there's obviously different, you know.
Asda's own.
McVitie's.
A full brand. Classic. Well done.
Yeah, it's got more of a wheaty taste to it. Or you know, I want this hi-hat to sound like, you know, like if you crunch an egg in your hand, just a raw egg, like
a quail egg or an ostrich egg or a moorhen.
Free range or
medium, large, half a dozen. Anyway,
you want that to sound like that drum has had freedom, has had a nice life, has been fed well and looked after and cared for.
Free range snare. That's a good term.
Gluten free and comes with its own Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
That type of thing. But you know, sometimes people, it's hard. Like, you know, that thing where like someone goes into a hairdresser's and says, "Right, I want you to cut my hair short, but leave it long."
Yeah. Don't touch it, but completely eradicate it.
Isolate, but don't isolate. But go out and go to work, but don't go to work. But yeah,
it's stupid.
I don't know what you mean.
Like, I like where the snare drum is, but is there a way you can like turn the volume up without it sounding like it's coming up in volume? And you're just like,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And then Ollie's like, yeah, whatever. Who's the song? Who's the song about? Who or what is the song about? Because you always write quite autobiographically, don't you? So there's going to be a story behind this one.
Well, this song is it's a tribute to my beautiful wife.
Oh, of course it is.
You know, this
Queen of your heart.
Well, that's it. We all have. There's only room for one queen in the kingdom, so it's all about that. It's about you know, meeting her and you know, the lure of being pulled into sort of like getting involved in something that you know is magical, and it's surrendering to that. And
you're big romantic.
Letting go of yourself in order to do that. So,
were you writing the track before lockdown, or is this something that you've because you're probably now spending more time with her as well? Are you learning new things about each other that you might not have known before the lockdown, and perhaps this has led you to actually? There's a song here.
I started writing this at the end of last year.
Okay, it's been going along. Okay.
So
before the apocalypse.
I had the track kind of there at the end of last year, and yeah, I mean, right now the dynamic that we have, it's very comfortable. You know, we've just like I actually find because of she works usually during the day, so I get the day to do my own thing. But sometimes I don't know. I mean, I find like recently I've enjoyed having her around because it's like if she isn't here sometimes, and I'm working on music, and I'm like I'm aware of the sort of like the loneliness of being working on stuff myself, and sometimes I'm not as productive. But sometimes having someone just walking around and doing what they're doing while you're working, it kind of just has a certain warmth that lets you feel like I'm comfortable being here. I don't
I know what you mean.
completely on my own.
Pottering around.
Yeah,
Working
exactly.
from home now and having a child running around, it's very different to having a colleague that you like, you know, offering you to make a cup of tea or whatever. It's a very different dynamic. Now it's everything's hellish because it's the background noise is a child that's feral. But I'm quite envious of your experience. Has lockdown made you more productive or same? Because I know the joke about, you know, for a music producer being locked in a room for hours and weeks and days on end with only knobs to fiddle with. Same.
I would say I've been more productive. I would definitely say so because I've sort of had to. I think what I've gained from being more creative, I've lost in terms of like following the thread of the day. So it's a very like at the moment it feels like a very ADHD day every day for me, where it's just like I'm just doing whatever's put in front of me, and then I'll make time from my own music and get lost in that, and then it's like, oh damn, I've got this deadline for this other project and I need to jump back in, and it's like, you know, 9 o'clock at night I'm still working on something. There's no, like before there was a structure of right 9 o'clock until 6 o'clock, that's my working hours, you know, when Linda's not in the house. When she's working, that's when I work. But right now it's very sort of like, okay, well, what are you doing? Okay, cool. Like I'll just get on with this at the moment.
Go with the flow.
And then we'll watch, you know, we'll watch the, you know, Netflix later.
Tiger King or whatever it is called. Yeah,
we watched that. It's I tell you what, it's at the moment it's a combination of The Last Dance, Michael Jordan.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Everyone's raving about that. Apparently,
that's
like,
man.
Overtaken Tiger King for most watched documentary on Netflix. It's got to be good.
Unbelievable. Even if you don't like basketball, it's a fascinating insight into someone who is, because Michael Jordan's like a Diego Maradona. There's a magic that comes with
untouchable.
A superstar like that, and
great in Space Jam with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, they talk about that at that time. Yeah,
what was that recently? He
just came back from retirement at that point, and he did the movie. And he basically used that movie to get all the stars of the league to come in and play games with him to get fit for the next season. So
no way.
Know what they were like and take them on and win. That's
how funny.
That's cool.
So that, and then watching Nashville. So it's, you know,
Nashville. Yeah. I'm up to date with that. I think. Are you? Unless there's a new season I don't know about.
Season.
My
4.
wife's a big fan. Okay, yeah.
Great.
So and so died. Oh no, I'm not going to spoilers. I quite like that. The songwriting's quite strong.
Oh yeah, it's great. That's country pop. I like country pop.
That's like Prism territory. I think
Prism territory. It kind of is actually. Yeah.
You mean apart like in their other side project?
Yeah. They were before.
Yeah, I've seen like a couple of videos of them singing. Brilliant. They've got great voices together.
Yep.
One night I took
Yeah,
What
definitely.
what else are you working on then? So you got lots of commissions for other folk. Are you allowed to talk about it or not really?
Well, one that I could probably tell you about that just kind of get wrapped up this week actually.
Is it Bono?
And I'm
Is it? Is it?
You brought him up earlier. I didn't know if that was a segue. Like, oh, we're going to find some stuff out about Bono. That'd be great.
No. I'm mixing this over the weekend and then sending it to get mastered, and then that'll be ready to go. So basically, I'm really excited about this actually, because obviously, you know, myself and Ollie, we work together, so we decided, you know, to sort of like, I guess, solidify that whole partnership. One time only deal. We're going to do a collaboration.
Ooh, what, a whole album?
Just one song.
Just one song?
One song.
Yes, a duet.
Very excited about it.
Nice. When's that come out?
I'm not sure yet because it's kind of involved in part of a video game soundtrack thing that we're involved
Another
in
one.
through New Retro Wave. So yeah,
Wow,
Everyone's making
okay.
video games.
This is one that I'm really excited about. I'm really proud of this track. And
cool.
And
Is that an exclusive we've just had? Are we the first?
Yep, you're the
Exclusive. God bless you, Michael. We love an exclusive.
But the thing is, it's one of those ones like where we both are very excited about it, and you know that way, like if I'm excited about it and he's equally excited about it, then
It's going to be
like, this is a winner.
freaking hot.
This is going to get a great reaction.
Is it an upbeat tune? Is it fast paced? Is it a Phil Collins number? Is it an original or is it a cover?
Yeah, it's original. It's how do I describe it? If you imagine if Toto Africa met Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh wow!
I'm in. I'm totally into this.
Zesty.
Yeah.
Lots of bim, lots of pep.
Pip and pep, I was going to say.
It's a funny one because it's probably the most 80s sounding track I've ever done, and my most recent stuff that I've been working on definitely has been a lot more modern. So it's not going to be on my like solo album that comes out, you know, later on down the line. This is a standalone thing, which it just wouldn't work on my solo album with the rest of the stuff. You know, I've went for a very up tempo, modern kind of retro feel with this new album. So yeah, I'm extremely excited about it. I like. It's out already 5 times.
It's great. It's great to see the excitement. As you said, Ollie's just as excited. I mean, that I think is a massive help because I can imagine if I was doing a solo with Tom Hanks, he wouldn't be as excited as I would. So to have you both on level pegging, both wanting the same thing, 100%. That track is gonna absolutely.
Absolutely. I literally just put the vocals down for it the other day at the studio, and yeah, you know that way it's funny because you know when you work on a track, right? You start it, you develop it, and you're like, this is good, this is going somewhere, and then there's that moment where you know you need to sing on it, and Ollie had put his vocal parts down and sent me them, and then I went and recorded mine, and then that way I came home, I put all the vocals in the session, and I just sat back and listened to it, and it was just that sort of, oh man, this is like I am really proud of this.
So it wasn't like a sorry, Kevin. Oh, it wasn't like a Bowie and Freddie Mercury thing where Bowie was like, "You're not going to listen to my bit. You just got to do your bit." And Freddie Mercury was like, "No, I need to hear this first because I don't want to be by Bowie." And he heard it, and Benny, I don't think he ever told him. Under pressure. So you both knew what you were singing. There was no surprises. Nice.
And you know, I mean, I've done a. It's funny, you know, different approaches. I think you probably go with, you know, collaborations like, for instance, the one I did with Dana Jean Phoenix. You know, that
was a lovely number.
Like, thank you. That for me was like one of those moments where like I literally wrote that track for her to sing on it. Like that was one of those, like I was literally like almost like pitching that to her to say, listen, I would love to work.
That's why she went for it, man. Made for her.
And I literally just said to her, I said, look, you're the star. I'm just going to compliment you with my vocal. My vocal will be very sparse. You know, I just want you to basically, because Dana can, the thing, and I would say, you know, it's no diss on any other female artists in the scene, but nobody can sing the way Dana sings. Dana can make any song her own. And that's the difference.
It's the sass.
It's funny because
Power Nerd album's brilliant, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's classic. And
One of my faves of the year so far.
oh, it's amazing. And Ollie's one of those people as well. You put any song in front of that guy, and he can make that song his own. And like it's funny because like I sing, right, but I know my place. Like I know I'm a good singer, but I'm not a great singer.
Oh,
Very modest.
too modest.
No, but it's true. I think sometimes you've got to get real about the talents that you have and make the best of them. And I know how to, like, I guess, perform a song with the skills that I've got, because sometimes performance is better than like you see that
Like, nuanced.
So I focus on that, but like I couldn't sing anything. There's like songs that I would be like, I just can't. I'm sorry. I couldn't sing that. I couldn't make that song talk the way that someone like Dana or Ollie could. They are like world class great singers. And
the folk. Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say with Dana, I just said, look, those. I've never heard you do like a Whitney Houston kind of like Clive Allen ballad. One of those like Saving All My Love for You. That type of stuff. And I said, look, just diva up. You just do what you do the best.
And she inspired you to pull something out. Do you remember that folk singer Terry Callier years ago, and he did an EP with Beth Orton in the 90s, and he was like an old black soul singer from way back, and she was up and coming or mid-career at the time, and she said, I don't know what to do. And Terry Callier was like, well, I'm going to sound a little bit like you, and you're going to try and sound a little bit like me, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle. And it was a really great, Ben, I think that's a lovely way. It's a bit like you and Dana, I'm going to let you do your thing, and I'm going to try and become a little bit like you, and we're going to meet in the middle, and we're going to perform something beautiful. It's going to be one of Rob's favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just, again, it was that moment, you send the track over and you're kind of patiently waiting to hear what comes up, and you're nervous, you're nervous because you think, oh my God, I hope my voice is okay with her voice, because not all voices
doesn't always work like that, does it?
Doesn't always work. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like duets I've heard. Like, I don't really like Kenny Rogers' voice with Dolly Parton's and Islands in the Stream.
No,
but whatever, but it just doesn't work for me. And so I was, again, I was just happy that. And so when I heard the track with Ollie singing, like hearing all the voices together, it was like, this is
can't wait for this.
This is going to work.
I've actually got a little of something that's, I wouldn't say been bothering me, but something I've been very curious for a long time. Singing. Why is it, do you think, whether you're Scottish, English, Australian, South African, we all sound American when we sing? Why? Have you noticed that? I think it's some
tinge.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose what they call something Twin Atlantic, I think, or even Biffy Clyro. I think they kind of have a bit of a. But typically, as soon as we start singing, it's an American accent. Why do you think that is?
I think it's probably partly MTV generation thing. You grow up with, I think you've got to remember when you sing songs, like say you've got the whole thing of the hairbrush in the shower sort of thing. When you sing the songs, you model the songs the way that they sing them. Do you know what I mean? It's like you don't sing it in your accent, because it sounds stupid. It sounds like a Walker's Crisp advert or something like that. It's like it just sounds. You're just like, it's just you're not gonna put the dialect in. But I do. It's been commented a few times to me, and genuinely, I can only put it down to probably growing up modeling myself after other people, and part of that is copying the way they sing, but also I think it's partly to do with like, I don't think I've ever like said this before, but like
exclusive.
I obviously I love my country, right? I love Scotland. It's my home, and it's somewhere that I have very deep emotional roots to. But I hate seeing Scottish people in movies, and I hate seeing Scottish people in TV shows, and I hate
get a bottle of Scotch.
And I see he's in a league of his own, like Michael Caine effect. It's like that's Michael Caine English in that way, is that Sean Connery Scottish. It's not the same.
Right, if you want to talk like Michael Caine, you need to talk Barry.
You've started him off now,
Barry.
Michael. What are we doing here?
My name is Michael Caine.
But you need if you want to do that's the younger Michael Caine. You need to like
I need to do
slower and deeper your voice for the butler.
She was only 16 years old, Michael Caine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I hate hearing music as well. I can't listen to music with heavy, thick Scottish dialect.
Biffy Clyro is case in point. Some of their songs.
I can't do it.
I know what you mean.
People are modelling that now. That's their thing now, to really sing in a heavy dialect. This Ollie release, will we see it on a like Stranger Love with Sunglasses Kid? Will we see this on a kind of physical copy release only? Is there a way that people can buy it and get because it's not going to be in your album? Is it going to be on Ollie's forthcoming album? Where can I get hands on it? It's
going to be on again an exclusive. It's going to be on a compilation album. The video game is working with New Retrowave at the moment on a compilation for this video game, and that's how it came about through that. So. Cool. So you'll see it available through that.
So we'll know about it about 16 months, like Stranger Love, before it comes out, and we'll wait a long time. They'll announce it, and it still won't be on Spotify, and you have to wait another 3 months just for it to be on. No, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah.
Just LimeWire it, pirate bit.
Yeah, is that still around? Never heard of it. Can you still do that? Is WinMX still around?
You can still find ways to do
it. Wait, what? There's ways. Okay.
You know,
bottom line.
What's I mean, the world tour's obviously been scuppered because of the old coronavirus. What's next in your life? You've done a bit of live streaming on Insta. Will you do something like a YouTube thing or a Zoom password, pays your money, takes your choice, pay-per-view type thing?
No, I would always do a free one. My wife has kind of been at me to do another one, and a few other people have like social media have messaged me and asked me about it, particularly people that missed the last one. So I am going to do another one. It's just finding the time to do it, I think. And because I want to try and answer people's questions as well as sing some songs, and I don't want it to just be a complete like
one-way thing. You want it to be interactive.
Syndication repeat of the last one. Do you know what I mean? It's just like.
Have you been watching Ollie's Saturday night?
He's got it down to
in the piano.
He's mastered that thing. It's like
he looks like he's in Vegas.
Yeah, it's got a nice high rent, whereas my one was filmed like here, like this background, so it's a little more low rent.
Ain't nothing wrong with low rent.
It's like I've got my keyboard here actually that I was just playing. This is all set up the exact same way the last live stream was almost.
Are you gonna sing for us now? Is this segueing into?
I don't know.
Can you sing? Can you just sing American Dream? Just give us that last little bit. Go on, give us a bit of that. Go on.
Oh my god!
I think he's going to do it.
I'm quite excited.
Oh,
hang on.
That's a D.
There you go.
That's D.
C actually.
Shit.
I
have no idea.
Only one letter out.
It's nothing.
The last bit of American Dream. How does that go? I'm sure that's
my American Dream.
Oh. Here we go.
Is something like that? I don't know.
We'll take it.
Haven't played that in a while.
We'll take it. I didn't know you were going to get a bit of live piano. Bad it.
I used it in. I used it
unplanned.
I used it in 5 Cent Shuffle, didn't I? An episode, and I just played that last My American Dream bit. Didn't give too much away at all about the title, but yeah. So, speaking of live performances, obviously they've basically been put to rest in 2020. Do you think synthwave as a genre is positioned well to cope with possible changes in the future to, say, social distancing and perhaps the lack of live venues that perhaps are going to be sort of sidelined for, let's be honest, or bigger pop acts, those that are going to obviously attract a larger crowd? Do you think there's still a scene out there for live performances? Because 2020 was going to be the year of the live performance, I think, based on some of the ones we saw in 2019. This was going to be it.
I think that probably you've got to think of it in terms of it's not just so much about accessibility of whether they can do it, it's also the hunger for it, because we've all sort of not been able to go out to things like the cinema at the moment. We can't go to a movie theatre, we can't go out to ice skating or any of your kind of general things, let alone going out to gigs, comedy clubs and theatres and things. So by the time this all comes around next year, there's going to be such a huge we can go out and people will probably have a lot more of a new lust for life in terms of going out and socializing and being out, and it will be more appreciated. Whereas I think it probably gets taken for granted, up until this point where that something like this happens and changes someone's.
I think ticket sales are gonna. I think they'll sell quicker. I just like you're saying, people will jump at the opportunity more because they'll realise that. Well, when's the next one going to come? Is this pandemic going to flare up again? We don't know what's going to happen now, do we? So you're right. I think we're going to see certainly people jumping at the chance more, but I think there'll be fewer events, maybe fewer but larger, perhaps.
Social distance.
I would say so. There's definitely going to be a complete hunger for it, though. People desperate to just get out and just have more of like a different entertainment experience, because stuck at home watching Netflix is only going to reward you so far, because Netflix is full of shit, and it's like you're
Tiger King.
It's like the thing is you're looking through it and it's like, oh, Tiger King, I've seen that, and then Stranger Things, watch that, and then Steven Seagal movie, and you're just like. He looks like he looks in this movie like the last person I think that would solve a double homicide. Like he looks like he's fucked. Like, why is he in this movie? And then it's like and the thing. Have you ever noticed on Netflix how many Bruce Willis movies are there?
Yeah.
Like, and it's all these movies where he appears in it for 5 minutes.
What, like
pick up a paycheck?
He kept his brand strong.
Yeah.
He didn't oversaturate in terms of being like in whole movies. Pulp Fiction.
Nicolas Cage as well, but I think that's to do with him being bankrupt and he's desperately trying to take on as many roles as possible and
he gets typecast as fuck as well.
What happened to Brendan Fraser? What happened to that guy?
Yeah.
He was so likable. He went bankrupt as well, but it doesn't like him to get a role. But I loved him as an actor. Oh, is he back?
He's back. Yeah, he's back. I saw some
George of the Jungle 7.
A few months ago, he was
vocals in the new album.
But for a guy who was that kind of like, I guess what you would call like posh fraternity boy sort of action.
He had the hair. He had the hair.
Like I don't really know what he would fit into now, like acting wise. Like
Bedazzled 2.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Bedazzled.
How old
that's crying to be made.
Brendan Fraser, I'm guessing he must be now in sort of 50, 52, 53, I reckon. If you're a fan of Scrubs, the episode where he's actually alive in Scrubs, but he's actually dead the whole time, that is one of the saddest pieces of TV ever. It's so sad.
That was one of those TV shows that had that habit of doing that, of making you laugh and then making you cry. I remember the moment as well where the
Hide the Saltine.
The one that I remember that was probably the one that got me the most emotionally. Like, it got me upset was when the doctor guy, the guy who was always the badass guy, and he was
Dr. Perry Cox.
He was in the van with this woman who kept on talking about her son, and then the baseball card. And she was talking about how he always loved baseball. And then someone came in. She was in the hospital for something, and a guy came in with a baseball card, and that was when Perry realised her son died years ago.
Yeah.
And he'd been making fun of her, and it's a hard time.
Dude, you got to watch Scrubs. They're showing it a lot on English TV here again.
Really? I need to catch up. It does sound quite emotional.
Just don't watch the last 2 seasons. Absolutely dreadful. Okay. Absolutely dreadful.
Completist in me will make me want to watch it all. I've got season 2 and 3 of True Detective. I still haven't seen past the first season because that was such a perfect season.
You know what? Just sell season 2 and 3. The season 2 and 3 are shit.
Shall I? Somebody said skip 2 and watch 3. Should I just write the whole thing off? I might just watch 1 again.
Do you know what you should watch? I watched recently The Shield.
Again, I haven't seen it. Man.
Oh my god, The Shield is like one of the best corrupt cop TV gritty dramas. Like Michael Chiklis.
Okay, I don't know that name.
Walton Goggins. He was in The Hateful Eight. Australian guy.
Okay. Is it on Amazon Prime? Where can I watch
probably this? Is. Yeah, it will be. Honestly, The Shield is it's in my top 3 favourite shows of all time.
Oh,
is it better than Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It can only be better than that.
Yeah.
Trust me, some of the language as well. There's been some insults that I've been like, oh, I'm going to keep that in you. I'm going to keep that in you.
Use that, Ollie.
Can you give us a few? Give us your top 3.
even though we're allowed to swear in this,
Oh,
I cannot say it.
Okay.
I cannot. Honestly, it's like, it's horrendously funny. It's the type of thing you can't. You can tell your close friends the jokes, but you couldn't.
Okay.
Cards Against Humanity funny.
It's like that, yeah. But it's hilarious.
I've done a kid-friendly version of it and print it off at home. I was thinking of doing it with my son, but I don't know. Just in case.
Trust me.
Okay, sweet. Nice to bought me.
Traced our idols from the big screen, but now the picture's losing sound. Oh, your voice fills my head. Can you tell me where you've run? 'Cause the lonely street lights hold no answers in what this world's become without you. Running every risk to claim myself, taking chances like nobody else. Sometimes I get this feeling, it comes and goes. Wonder what my life would be with you here, but I'll never know. 'Cause it's cold on the outside. I'll spend my whole life waiting for one more chance. My arms are reaching to hold you and join in the dance. Or are we crystal ships just passing by?
What's your daily grind? What's your lockdown routine? What do you do every day systematically to get you through this?
Has your right arm got any bigger?
Alternate. That is the
Alternate, yeah.
alternate.
I basically I wake up when I wake up, and usually about 9:30.
I wake up when I want, except on Wednesdays when I'm rudely awakened by the dustman.
Part life.
Yeah, I wake up, I walk downstairs to the sound of my cats like annoying the shit out of me. So I kind of decide, am I making my coffee first or am I going to feed them? And I usually probably make
Coffee first. Yeah.
No,
It's like put somebody else's safety mask on before your own. No, put yours on before somebody else. You need your coffee before you feed the cat.
It's more what I do is I put on the kettle on the stove, and then I feed them while that's boiling. Feed them so that they shut up, and then get my coffee together, and then I'm like, oh, right, okay, what am I doing now? And I usually that's when I kind of do some stretches, exercises, and then get to work. I do a lot of like production work, like for sample companies and sample packs, patch designs for producers. In fact, I did that course recently for Sonic Academy, which was like a production course, which was nice.
Nice. God, it must be freaking amazing to do what you love full time. So many people we speak
hobby
to,
and a job. Yeah, it's cool.
It's the best feeling in the world, and I definitely don't take it for granted. Because there was. I think most things do end up in some way become like a job. I remember when I started perform as a performing musician many years ago, and we started the band to play at weddings in order to get us out of the daily 9 to 5 job grind, and that was it. It was like, no, we can work weekends and have the whole week off if we want. And so we did that, and it was so much fun because we were all friends. But eventually, the routine kicks in. You're singing the same songs every week. You have to learn, new songs for the first dance, and you slowly there creeps in a sort of like a lack.
You're a slave to it.
Yeah, you feel a bit like this is just like any other job now, and you feel it. But with this, the type of work I do now, I'm always working with different people, and I'm the type of guy that I love to learn from people. I love to like learn new skill sets when I'm working, in production techniques. I love to like see how other people work and go, I could do that. You're always
learning, man.
Your toolbox. You're always looking for new ways to
taking the Kaizen approach, continuous improvement, Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only way to stay fresh, and it's the only way. It's the only way to stay, what you call inspired. It's the only way to stay excited about what you're doing, and genuinely, I know it's funny because like with what I do, I guess you could say, oh, he's an expert at like what he does, but I don't really like that word because that suggests that I know what I'm doing, and I can honestly say to you that a large but you do know what you're doing to a certain degree, but the fun comes from not knowing what you're doing, and the sort of excitement when you stumble across something that you're like, I didn't know that was going to do that. Oh my God, I need to get that recorded. What did I do? Stupid things, effects, effects processors where you're playing about with things and filtering or patches or synthesizers, and you're playing away with this sound, and you're like, oh my God, that sounds great at that point in the song, and there's a naivety involved. I remember I saw an interview with Midjure. I remember he's saying, a lot of his best ideas came when there was a naivety about what he was doing, and I didn't really understand what he meant at the time, but now I do understand what he means. And a naivety, as in you don't know what you're doing, and
it's dangerous to be the best, like to be at the top of your game. I think you get, like you say, you get comfortable, and I think people start to relax. So if you're constantly always curious and wanting to explore different avenues, I think you're always gonna just, as long as you don't have a ceiling, I think have no target, have no aim. If you've reached it, then that's it. I think that's very, very dangerous. So yeah, I think that's a good approach.
Absolutely, and I think it's probably an ethos that's lacking in the scene. Actually, I think it's something that frustrates the fucking hell out of me, is that it's like all these different like artists who basically just like cut, copy and paste other people's stuff. Right? And it's just like
formulaic.
And it's like, look, the Midnight are the Midnight. you're never
Yeah.
gonna get to that level sounding like them. Time
Mm.
Cop is Time Cop. That's his
Mm.
thing. You know, he's done that. That's his sound. And if the more you try and sound like that, the less people are going to like adopt you as like your own man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with this new album that I'm writing, like I'm not listening to anything like
Smart.
within the scene. Like I've been listening to a lot of different types of music to try and pull from that to kind of like give you guys something fresh to listen to. And even if God forbid the album sucked, right? At
It ain't
least I
gonna
would at least I would go to bed at night feeling like, you know what, I still did that my
Did it
way.
your way?
And
Yep.
I didn't
I
compromise.
did it
Uh,
my way.
yeah, you sort of like you don't want to feel like you're making a product. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Keep
that's
the
what people
artistry.
like. Yeah, that's what
I'll give
people
them
like.
more of that.
I'll just do that. I'll just give them more of that. There's a sort of insincerity about that. It's like
Yeah.
conveyor belt music, I call it.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, absolutely. And like, I remember Bowie only listening to himself when he made some of the latter albums,
yeah,
not Black Star, but the one before. And it's like so many people have been influenced by him. That yes, there was a track that sounded a bit like the Pixies, and there was a track that sounded a bit like. But really, the tail was eating the head because Bowie, man.
Bowie's the quintessential like journeyman artist who
Mm.
never ever repeated the same steps, and that is something which I feel in synthwave is definitely missing. You know, I want to hear more people express themselves. I want to hear more people bringing in different elements. I mean, you know, think about it this way: the '80s was an entire decade, right? There exists more than just the John Hughes soundtrack music. You know, there was like
Preach.
there was stuff like Blondie, that new wave type movement where you got all
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
really great kind of like exciting kind of bands. There was like, I'm surprised there's not been someone that sounds like that kind of Prince Minneapolis type sound,
Yeah, true.
because that
There's a
sound
hole there.
is amazing.
Mm.
Like there's a total like niche for that. There's a space for it. There's an audience that would love that, and like that kind of R&B sort of vibe that was brought into
So,
that.
so the scene's not yet saturated. You think? You think there's plenty more breathing space and room to explore?
I think that there's an absolute world to explore, but it's just
Good.
people are sort of stuck on this same like thing, and I hate to say it, but it's a low bar entry in terms of production. Like
Yeah.
I could literally make that sound in half an hour, and it would probably sound enough to make people go, oh yeah, yeah, that's cool. But then I would just be sitting there like, this is fucking shit. Like
Yeah, I pissed it
this is
out this morning.
not this is like been done to death.
Mm.
Like
That's why I like.
It's not all neon. It's not all flashing
No.
lights and palm trees. Yeah, the 80s did have Rover and Leyland, British Leyland. So make something gritty.
Part of the charm, I think, with the 80s was, you know, you look at every year of the 80s, there was a new sound that was in vogue because there was all these new synthesizers. The 80s is the synthesizer decade. Each year of the 80s, there was like a new synthesizer that came out, and it started in the early 80s with the kind of like analog stuff, which then progressed to like the Fairlight and sample-based instruments, and then it progressed to digital sounds and digital workstations. So like this the sound palette that was available across that decade is
It's true,
Vast.
actually.
Vast.
Why are people fixated on 8 months of the 80s instead of this? I like the
well, it's
stuff
that
that OSC's doing.
1985. It's that 1985
Yeah,
period,
yeah.
you know.
The
There's
stuff
so
that's
much
starting to
more.
sound a bit 90s. Yeah.
Well, that's been a big thing in my sound. You know, I've been sort of exploring more of that. I think when I started writing like a California album, like I actually did have a sort of like a kind of mental vision of developing that album into more of a 90s kind of like modern type of record. Like if you listen to the very last track in the album, End of Summer, I deliberately put that as the last track in the album because that to me was a kind of nod as to what direction I was thinking I was going.
Smart. Yeah. It's like, I'll just leave you with this, guys. Not what you're expecting, but a hint at something new, a fresh dawn, so to speak.
Well, the thing is then when obviously after that album I signed with New Retrowave, I actually kind of shifted a little bit because I felt like, you know, I've been
Because they
listening.
told you to, or you wanted to?
Oh no, I wanted to. I was
Okay.
listening. I was listening to a lot of music that I used to listen to. I fell back in love with the music I grew up with, and I just felt like, you know what? If I'm ever going to make this type of album that is basically like a purist album, like a tribute to the music I grew up with, now's the time. Because I'm not going to do it in 2 or 3 years' time. It's
Mhm.
now. This is the time, would be the right time to do it. And so I shifted, and now I've shifted back to what would that sound be like modernized now? How do we take that? How do we take it forward into a new direction and bring in more early '90s influences and just
That's
make
what your
things
man
fresh?
that's what your man Ian Scullet attributed to you a little while ago. How you're making, you know, really solid, authentic 80s sounding music, but with a contemporary production. And yeah, he was a big
Yeah.
advocate of yours
It's
early on.
funny, yeah. It's kind of funny because, you know, when I was making that album, it really felt to me like a very sort of pure, a purist, authentic '80s album. But then afterwards, you know, a lot of people said it sounded very kind of modern as well. And I guess, you know, if it's me that's making the record, there's always going to be a certain element of what my brushstrokes, I guess.
Yes, yeah,
which I can't help
palette.
that. Yeah, it's going to be my way, I guess. But yeah, I'm very excited for the next album. I feel like I had a period of time where I took that time off and didn't write, because whenever I finish a big project, I did this after California. I took 6 months off, did this with Introspect, took 6 months away and didn't touch anything. Because again, talking about habits, I like to forget what I've like learned up until that point. If you take 6 months
naivety
off,
again.
it's like Etch a Sketch. You're just like in your brain, you forget everything. And so when I went back, I was kind of nervous again. I was like vulnerable that way. You're sitting like, oh my god, like how do I do this again? And
You put yourself in a corner, and you find yourself reacting better to it. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's just back to what I said before. I don't want to know exactly what I'm doing. I want to feel like I'm discovering the music just like the listener would for the first time, you know, and then I get excited like, that's it, record and get that, you know, you just get excited about stuff. And
if only someone would
music if I didn't.
If only someone would tell Chris Martin that. He seems to be extremely comfortable just pumping out the same. This will be a stadium number. This will get everybody waving the lighters, whatever, or their iPhones. Do something different. You know, endanger yourself.
Hasn't that project though turned into the Chris Martin solo record though?
Oh God, please no. If you were locked down with another artist, a producer, or a musician, and it's not going to be Chris Martin, who would it be? Who would you happily be locked in with?
Oh, definitely Ollie, because we would just be so productive, you know, because I know the dynamic, and we're both very hungry to get stuff done. That's the thing as well. We're both very like proactive. You know, I've worked with people before where you're having to continually like have you done anything? Like, have you anything you can let me hear? You know, what have you got? And then you're waiting months.
Like a teacher.
Whereas like we're like bang, bang, bang. We're like very sort of back and forth with the ideas and getting it done quickly. So if I could choose, then because I work with a few people, it would definitely be Ollie and also John Kunkel from New Division, because I work with John.
Oh, okay.
I was working.
I love New Division. They're one of my gateways into synthwave. But yeah, awesome. And they just do great remixes as well. Really good remixes.
Do you know John's the greatest producer I've worked with, and he is like, we just are on the same page when it comes to production and just overall kind of like a sound of a record, like getting the thing happening. So I was actually working with him earlier today on Skype. We were working on something, and New Division are fantastic. You know, I'm a huge fan of his, and I love that
I'm jealous
that line of like retro sound and stuff, but he's got that hybrid of like bringing in indie influences in.
It definitely is, yeah. I'm just trying to think. There was another band very much like New Division. Not the new number 2. I can't remember what they're called, but I know what you mean. Like I was definitely listening to New Division before I discovered synthwave. I mean, he's certainly been around for quite some time.
Brilliant. He's so good.
That album cover where it's a man with like long hair on the front and there's like 4 versions of it, one in blue, green, red, like the different colors of the spectrum. Is that him on the front cover? I've never seen him, but is that actually him?
Oh, is
that just...
Is that Gemini?
I thought I'd put you put me on the spot there. Put me on the spot.
I think that one might be Gemini. No, that wouldn't be him. No.
Oh, okay. It's just curious. Just curious. I thought I'd get one last question in because we're gonna have to end this thing now, aren't we, Rob?
We've
Unfortunately.
been chatting away for an hour.
Yeah.
We've got somebody knocking on the door by the looks of it. Should we test it out before we begin? Oh, Johnny Ladd.
Johnny Ladd coming up
WhatsApping
next.
us. Yeah, that's incredible. Michael,
wish-
you're such an easy, lovely person to just have a nice long chat with. It's been really a pleasure in your company.
I'm an open book.
Yeah, mysterious ways.
Part, get to wear my hat as well. Just
Boy.
in case you weren't sure. It's it's funny because I'm a huge Pet Shop Boys fan, and I had always loved the kind of look that they had in that early period, and Chris Lowe had like the Boy London hat, and so when I saw this, I saw this pop up. Like, this is an original '80s Boy
No
London
way!
hat.
Oh, I love it.
When that popped up on eBay, I was just like, buy it now.
Nice.
I want
It's
it
mine.
now. Just buy it, and I'll
That's
love
wicked.
it.
Very you.
Nostalgic.
Oh, thank you so much for talking to us, man, and giving us a couple of exclusives.
Thank you.
We've heard the track. We've got the track. And when's it released? Queen of Hearts.
May the 22nd.
22nd, next week. Nice.
Yeah, big day, big new beginnings. I like little things. I changed my profile picture on my social media. It used to be the introspect picture with the phone, and I just felt like it's time. This is the new chapter. Yeah, like that. Basically, your T-shirt. Absolutely. So, new chapter.
Paid £80 for this, you bastard.
£80.
Shh. Don't tell him I'm lying.
Oh, okay.
Probably the shipping.
Yeah, bloody is. It always gets me.
Probably from the Outer Hebrides.
Yeah,
Probably what did it.
COVID-19.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably, I think it comes, from my dealings with them. I'm sure that the stuff gets sent from Michigan.
Interesting. Okay. Eden Future territory. Anyway, we need to end this. Unfortunately, we've got the next chat coming up. So, Michael, thank you so much on scene. So cool. And thanks for reaching out to us. Good luck with the single.
Yeah.
Good luck with the album, man. Have a great day. Have a great lockdown.
See
Catch you on the
soon,
flip
brother.
side. See
Take
you,
care,
Michael.
man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.